The birth of an alicorn is something Equestria has never seen.
It is beyond even our understanding.
Alright, I have several questions about that. First off, how did they have this baby when Cadence was another breed before she became an alicorn? Does that give her some sort of alicorn genetics? Better yet, why aren't the princesses natural alicorns either? What were they before? What were their parents before? Who are their parents? Who are Cadence's parents? What the fuck, Hasbro? Oh.
Great, they broke Geeky. Again.
Tricky. My head hurts, man. We're 6 seasons in, and now they're doing this? What the fuck?
Calm down. Everything is going to be fine.
How can I be calm when we have the MLP version of Poof with no explanation whatsoever?
Look at this!
Morning, Starlight.
Whoops! Sorry, Spike. I guess I'm still trying to find my way around. You don't happen to know where the library is, do you?
Next door on the left.
Oh, thanks.
Tell me she isn't adorable.
It's so cute. Ugh, but, not as adorable as my taco anyways. She's the cutest thing ever. Oh, hi, hun. What's up? Ow! Jeez. That wasn't cool.
Okay, with this out of the way, let's begin. After the cutie remark, nobody expected Season 6 to arrive this soon. But now, here it is. The Crystalling, a brand new two-parter to open the new season. Even before this episode was aired, I could tell that there will be some controversy around it. As if the addition of a redeemed Starlight Glimmer wasn't enough, we also got Princess Flurry Heart, our new alicorn baby.
Sheesh, it's like she can hear me from miles off. But yeah, when this episode was first being shown off in commercials and stuff, a lot of the focus was on this weird bug-eyed alicorn baby. The way she was advertised gave me incredibly worrying expectations for weeks. I mean, a new character, a baby no less, is already just as powerful, if not more so, than most adult alicorns are. How can that possibly not raise at least a couple eyebrows?
Okay, that was somewhat of a foregone conclusion thanks to baby cakes. In that episode they stated that unicorns can show spontaneous outbursts of magical energy that are apparently much more powerful than what most unicorns are capable of. Pumpkin Kate was able to fly with magic. The only other unicorn that showed a similar feat is Starlight Glimmer. So, we could basically tell what would happen with an alicorn baby. It was stupid back then, and it's stupid now, but they kinda had to roll with it.
It's even more ridiculous with the baby being an alicorn. If you've seen anything from the commercials, you've pretty much seen all there is from Flurry Heart. She's a baby who has stupidly powerful magic that she doesn't really know how to use yet. However, we've seen this kind of thing happen in a handful of other cartoons as well, and we all know how those went. And to be honest, this doesn't do any better or different here. This ultimately makes Flurry Heart's reveal very uninteresting. Her plot structure went exactly the way that I thought it would, which not only left me annoyed, but bored. And that's just something that is a complete misstep for something that's meant to entertain.
You do have a point. Pretty much every point about the baby plot was predictable, but it wasn't really the focus of this episode. The true stars were Starlight Glimmer and Sunburst. It was quite engaging to see how much self-doubt Starlight has. It is obvious that it will probably stay this way for the entire season. Just look how uncomfortable she looks in the opening. Well, since it hated herself, she was willing to reach out and try to make friends, and proves that she has changed. Starlight is still quite afraid of the whole friendship thing. She's much more awkward around other ponies, and she has a hard time with Twilight's planned friendship lessons.
Yeah, you pretty much hit the nail right on the head there. And to be honest, this plot for Starlight actually took me by complete surprise. Like, literally. It wasn't advertised in commercials, it wasn't leaked online anywhere. For all I could have known, they could have just given Starlight a lazily slapdashed backstory in an effort to make her seem more likable from the outset. But no, they actually took that backstory and they fucking did something with it. We got some great interactions between Starlight and Spike, and we got to see exactly what happened with Sunburst after he left. It gives a pretty good justification as to why Sunburst didn't even attempt to keep in touch with Starlight. He probably didn't want to look like a loser. It still doesn't explain if Starlight tried to keep in contact herself, or why exactly Sunburst can't use the magic he's learned for anything, especially in what's essentially the unicorn capital, but it still does a decent job of clearing things up on his end.
Actually, they did address this in a pretty clever way. In Starlight's flashback, he never does anything extraordinary. He only explains Starlight how to do magic. Only in the moment he saves Starlight, he shows some magical talent, but even that feat isn't that great. He puts a couple of books back in the shelf. There's a cruel irony hidden. In fact, Sunburst was a case for the Cutie Mark Crusaders. He misunderstood his talent. They all thought he was destined to be a great wizard while in truth he's a scholar or probably a teacher. He simply doesn't have that much magical potential. By the way, listen to this line.
An old student of mine believes he does.
Seems like Sunset and Twilight are suddenly less special. I guess it can be assumed that Celestia calls every pupil of her school her student.
Well, that's kind of how school usually works, right? You're a pupil of a teacher, so you're a student. That's how it typically goes.
Yeah, but people often assume that she only talks about her personal students in this manner, so maybe people will finally shut up about the fact that Celestia never mentioned Sunset before. Anyway, while Sunburst and Starlight were handled brilliantly, other characters got the short end of the stick. All characters only got something to do to keep them occupied until Starlight and Sunburst finally have their heart-to-heart talk and explain the rest how to save the day. Not to mention that the baby didn't do much either beside breaking the crystal heart and destroying a magical book that could have solved all the problems. I only want to mention that it seems rather unlikely that a baby, even if it is an alicorn, could break the crystal heart that easily.
I assume that they want us to like this character, right? Well, it's kind of hard to do that when she puts the entire Empire in jeopardy. But I digress. There are some little things outside of Starburst that actually end up being relatively good, like Shining Armor. Yes, you heard me right. Shining Armor actually got some good character growth in this episode. I can really tell that the voice actor just had a ball with this episode. Shining Armor is spastic, over the top, and he's second only to Sunburst on the dorkiness levels. It's a lot more apparent here than in, say, the one where Pinkie Pie knows, where that kind of personality is kept to a single one-off joke. Here, it's just completely owned up to, and it might be partially because of the character's delirium, but it's a great start. I can't say the same for Cadence, though. Come on, guys, let's step it up. Give Cadence at least a little bit more screen time. Hell, maybe we can make this season, wait for it, the Season of Cadence!
That joke was bad, and you should feel bad for making it.
Yeah, it's kind of a sucky idea, isn't it? I'll just see myself out.
Anyway, Shining really was entertaining in this episode. It was like his lesson zero. I always like to see the mental breakdown of our beloved characters. In any case, this episode felt much more lighter compared to previous two-parter. While the stakes were still pretty high, it hardly seemed as serious as this episode lacked a villain. But this isn't necessarily a bad thing. Thanks to this lighter tone, there was much more room for comedy. And there were plenty of small moments that made me laugh. And did I mention that Spike was really good here? As this episode took place in the Crystal Empire, he got some respect for once.
Because Spike the Brave and Glorious saved all of us from King Sombra. And then again during the Equestria Games. Really?
Really? Big fan.
When were you gonna tell me about this?
Nah, it's no big deal.
It most certainly is!
That's it! We're not going anywhere until I get the whole story.
Spike also didn't act like a complete idiot. He actually showed a surprising good chemistry with Starlight. Those two really played each other off. By the way, I really like that Starlight lives now with Spike and Twilight in that castle. Her getting lost in it was quite hilarious and cute. Anyway, let's wrap things up.
The Crystalling is an alright season premiere. Nothing about it is really too interesting, or engaging for that matter. Heck, when I first saw the commercials, I thought that this was gonna tank. like, hard. But to my surprise, this episode actually does have a few decent tricks up its sleeve, like the plot involving Sunburst and Starlight that managed to keep it from going too far off. Heck, they may as well be the main characters, because their plot is just significantly more interesting. When it works incredibly well. But when it doesn't, man, I feel it. I feel it bad. It's alright. Not great, but I could definitely see myself watching this at least one or two more times. Oh, and let's not forget, Starlight's absolutely fabulous haircut. It's just so adorable.
I like this two-parter. While it probably isn't my favorite, it was actually quite nice to see a two-parter for once that isn't that grim. However, it does raise a lot of questions about alicorns and the Crystal Heart, and we didn't tackle all of them in this video, but Starlight and Sunburst made up for this big time. I really liked the interaction and how they expanded on their relationship. Though I'm still somewhat disappointed, I was sure that we would see Queen Chrysalis again. Wait, what is this? 20 bits that we will see changelings in the finale. Are you in?
Nah. You're probably referring to Chrysalis, and she's pretty much that one character DHX would like us all to forget at this point. Except when it comes to the comics, because that's apparently where all the good shit happens.
Have you seen my last review?
Yes, and I wish that I never did. Screw that comic.
Anyway, what about you? Did you like this episode? Anything that bothered you? What are your thoughts on Starlight and Sunburst, or that baby for the matter? Let us know in the comments. I am Tricky Fox.
And I'm Geeky Steven.
Stay foxy!
And stay geeky, I guess. I don't know. My channel's down below somewhere. I'm on the Season 6 train now, and there's no getting off!